Hi, it's Wendy, and today I want to talk to you about money, 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 money. This is one of the most popular topics that I have. Addiction is the number one most popular because it's such a really hard issue for people to solve, and they've failed and failed and failed because of the AA and 12-step not working for them and rehab not working. That's why it's number one. But the runner-up is the Financial Abundance Program. And many of you know my story already. You've heard it like way too many times, but you're going to hear it one more time. This is so important for you to understand what it takes to get over your issues with money, change your deepest negative beliefs about money, to stop sabotaging yourself, to run out of motivation and confidence, and to not take risks or take chances when you're doing a new business or trying to find opportunities. So I'm going to run through a bunch of this with you. I got a hair in my eye. Eey. I just did a live online course that was 8 sessions long, and it was an hour each time. And the people who took the course, they had such insights and learned things about themselves that they didn't know. They discovered the things that were holding them back, like self-sabotage. That's the big one. Why do we do that? If we want to make more money or be more successful at our business, or create groups of people that are doing things together as a business, or finding a better job that really stimulates your creativity and makes you happy, but yet we do things to sabotage our success, our motivation, our stick-to-itness. What the hell's up with that? All right, so here's the deal. I was many years ago, I was a single mom living in Northern California, and it was winter. And my kids were 3 years old and 7 years old. And it was the winter. And it was cold out. I couldn't pay the heating bill, and the heating bill meant the great big propane tank outside because we lived in the country. So I had a giant propane tank, and they would fill it, and I'd pay the bill, except this month I couldn't. So it was really cold in the house. And they had put a big brass lock on that tank and disconnected it so that I couldn't turn the gas on. And I was desperate. I had to do something because I had 2 little kids and it was cold. So I got a hammer and I got a screwdriver, and I went outside, and then I grabbed this big rock, and I didn't know what I was going to do with these 3 things, but I was going to get that brass lock off of there, which certainly seemed impossible. But my intention was, it was rock solid. That's why I had the rock, I guess. So I banged, and I used the screwdriver as kind of a lever, and I put the rock under the screwdriver and banged. I did a combination set there, and the lock popped off. So then I hooked the pipe back up, turned the propane on, went inside and lit the pilot's lights. And what I didn't realize is that my 7-year-old son had come outside and he watched me do this. I certainly wasn't very proud of that. But this still chokes me up a little bit, but he looked up at me and said, "Mommy, I'm so proud of you." So it's not something you want your child to be proud of you for. So that happened. We had heat. But from there, I had to look at, why am I broke all the time? I'm a hypnotherapist, and I don't have enough clients, and I'm not getting clients. I have no money, and life sucks, and I can't do anything fun, and I can barely feed my children. And one time, I called the welfare office because somebody told me, you can get a whole cord of wood for free, because I had a wood stove, and you can heat your house with that. So I called them. And when they answered, when I tried to talk, I started crying. I was crying and sobbing so hard that I couldn't even speak. I had to hang up. Because this issue was so deep for me. It brought up such a deep anger and hatred of my life. And I had to find out what was going on. So I was a good hypnotherapist. I just wasn't seeing enough clients to support myself. And I decided to do on myself what I do with my clients, which was find the positive reason that I need to be broke, or I need to struggle, or I need to not make money, or I need to be scared of making money, whatever it was. So I was sitting in a chair. I remember exactly where I was sitting, and I just relaxed my body for a while, took some breaths. And I found the part of me, it was in my stomach, in my belly, because that's where our fear lives. And I asked that part, what do you want? And the part said, I need you to be pitiful. That made no sense to me. So I didn't question it or judge it, because you're not going to do that. You're just going to accept the answer. Say, okay, thank you. And I said, even deeper, what do you want? And the part said, I need you to be more pitiful. Ooh, that hurt. Because if there was one thing I wasn't, it was pitiful. I was not pitiful in my life. That didn't make sense to me. But I closed my eyes, I kept them closed. Asked that part, why do you want me to be pitiful or more pitiful? And the part said, because then someone will rescue you. This made me start crying, because I couldn't believe that I had a program running anywhere in my entire being that needed to be rescued. That was the last thing I wanted. However, and this is important for you to understand, on some level, my mind decided that a way to get out of this horrible hardship was to be rescued. Other people get rescued. I guess my brain thought maybe I could be rescued. My subconscious got to work thinking, obviously we need to get worse, so someone will rescue us. When I was done crying, I had to take a hard look at myself and decide that, wow, I have had this program running in me. Now, it's okay to learn this information. It is no longer a hidden agenda. Does that make sense? Your self-sabotage, once you discover it, it no longer has power over you. That's step one. That's the first thing we do in the financial abundance work. The next thing we want to look at is your beliefs about money. Do you believe that money is evil? That people who have it are greedy? That you don't deserve to have wealth? That you are unworthy of wealth or success? That you would be really afraid of being successful because then you have to manage your money? You think you might make mistakes because your father made a lot of mistakes, or your husband declared bankruptcy, or your wife ran away with all your money. Do you think that something bad is going to happen if you make more money based on previous mistakes? We have all made plenty of mistakes with money, right? Am I right? Come on. Ooh, it's okay. Life sucks sometimes and we make mistakes, and the important thing is to learn from them. But when it comes to creating wealth, we want to look at the beliefs that created. When you decided to put on the brakes, to not have courage or to not be creative in wanting to make money, what belief was created that made that happen? So this is something you can look at by, again, closing your eyes, getting quiet, going inside and saying, what will it mean about me if I make lots of money, if I create wealth, if I help a lot of people, if I become the go-to person for them to solve a difficult problem? What will it mean about me? And write down those words. What will it mean about me? Is it something negative? Is it something positive? Do you feel yourself getting glitched by that question? All right, and then you're going to know a little something more about yourself. A thing that I do in the Financial Abundance Program that I really love is meeting your future self. This is self-discovery as well. So when you meet your future self, let's go 1 year into the future. You're relaxed, you're all floaty, you do the woo woo woo, and don't laugh when you do it though, that doesn't help. And then you float up and you imagine yourself floating out into the future. You're floating out into the future through the days and the weeks and the months, all the way to 1 year in the future. And you let yourself float down and let your feet touch down. And then you stand there face to face with your future self. Your future self 1 year older, looking very happy, confident, content, excited. And as you're face to face with your future self, ask your future self some questions like, what was the most important thing that helped you achieve this wealth and success and joy in life? What was the most important thing? Maybe you ask, what did you have to let go of in order to allow money to flow into your life? What is it that you learned that kept you motivated and excited every day? So questions like that give you insight to what you could be doing and how you could be so much more courageous and full of energy and motivation and creativity and how you're going to create that. Yeah, so the other thing to do is, now you already know this probably, but when you experience an imagined event, especially in hypnosis, and you make it as vivid as you can using visuals, auditory, kinesthetics, emotions, and putting yourself in there so it's just like a marching band of emotion all around you, your brain stores that memory as a real event. Even though you know consciously that was an imaginary event, your brain still reacts off of that as if it's already happened. So I want you to experience it with all the elements as if it's already happened. Take yourself to 1 year in the future. Let your feet touch down on that timeline of 1 year in the future. When I did this and my feet touched down, I saw these faces of all these people, and their eyes were bright and they were smiling and they were so happy for the help that I had given them. I'd changed their lives. I saw a book that I had written and people were buying this book and loving how this book helped them change their lives and feel better. I saw that I had made over $1 million in that year in this experience. Even though there was no way for me to do that at the time, I was so poor. I was a single struggling mom with some issues, but I did that. Okay, so I did all that in that process, and then I also took a post-it note and I wrote on that post-it note $1 million or more, and that was in 1 year, and I put it on my computer monitor and I left it there on the side of that computer monitor for 1 year. Now there's more to the story because I did more work than that, but the work that I did on me I put into my financial abundance program. So all 8 sessions are a piece of the puzzle. Like each one is one of the things that you have to do in order to make sure you cover all of your beliefs, your sadness, your self-sabotage, your agendas, your doubts about your future, your limitations or the limitations others have put on you, your lack of confidence, etc., etc., etc. It's all in there. But doing just these things was a great help. After 1 year, I sold $1,012,000, 1 year to the same month in August. And I also had put on that post-it note that in 1 year I would open the door to my beautiful house. And I had imagined myself buying a big, beautiful, brand new house. And I imagined myself doing cartwheels in this vacant house with brand new carpet, brand new everything, because it was a new house. In the first week of August. I said I opened the doors to my beautiful house in the first week of August. And no kidding, I closed escrow on a big, beautiful, brand new house in the first week in August, a year later, against all odds. So I want you to think about doing these processes on yourself, not having excuses, stopping your self-talk when you say, oh, it's so hard to make money. I used to believe that it was hard to make money in the hypnotherapy business. It turns out, guess what? It's not that hard. But what it did to me, to do these processes on myself, it made me think differently. I was more creative. I was willing to take more chances. I did things that most people won't do. Like, I walked into a big high-end health club and I asked them if I could do workshops in their health club. And they said, yes, of course. In fact, we have 3 health clubs and they have a mailing list of like 20,000 members. They put up posters all over. They sent out my promos and their newsletters. Cost nothing. They did it for free. And then I did classes there every week that I got paid for. It was so awesome. And then those people became my clients. So cool. I went to golf courses and I talked to them about doing golf hypnosis at the course, and I got golf clients. What else did I do? I did so many things. Oh, one day I pulled out the yellow pages. Remember those? Pulled out the yellow pages and I closed my eyes and point, and I would call whoever was on that end of my finger. One of them was a radio station, a talk station in Sacramento. And they said, come and be on my talk show at 6 a.m. on Monday morning, and in the studio. And I'd never been on the radio. I was so scared. I really was. And so I went in on Monday morning at 6 a.m. and I was on that radio show for 3 hours. And what happened after that? Oh my gosh, my life changed. I got so many calls for speaking engagements with clients. I was booked up for 2 months in advance. I started doing groups because I didn't have room for clients. So I'd have these groups that came back week after week. It was really awesome. And you can do this too, because when you get those negative beliefs, the withholds, the self-sabotage, the lack of a vision, and once you get rid of those, and then you do have those, like the 1 year in the future, once you have that, it drives you to do creative things, things that are a little more courageous. And in the Financial Abundance course, you get to cover all those things. So here's how you can find it. In the comments down there, there's a link for it and a coupon for a discount of 20%, which is, let's see, I need to make up the coupon name right now. My Life, that's it. My Life, in one word, make My Life one word. All right, so you go there and you start that program. In that program, it's a course, and you can ask questions and I will answer your questions, and you can tell me all along the way what you need help with, what's not quite right, what you're struggling with. But you can also share it with other people so that you inspire others to also find their struggle or their pitifulness or whatever they're going through. But I believe in it so much. It is totally responsible for all the opportunities I've had. I mean, to just understand that your fear is making you look at things so negatively. And if you can just lift that fear and find it and know why it's doing that and release it, magic happens. And I got an email early on in my life, before I was doing big time stuff. I got an email from someone that said, I want to hypnotize women for sex. Oh, ew, really? But I was feeling adventurous, so I emailed back. We emailed back and forth quite a bit. And I still didn't know who this person was. But it turns out this person from a royal family in a Middle Eastern country flew me to Europe to meet with him for a week to help him do work with his depression and his sadness and his inability to connect with women. So he figured he'd have to hypnotize them to have sex, right? He really wanted a relationship and he wanted to feel loved. And it was an amazing experience. But what if I had seen that email when I was operating from fear? And my fear said, ew, hypnotize women for sex? Delete, right? So you need to have your mind be opened to so many possibilities and curiosity. Curiosity is the biggest, wonderfulest gift we have, so that you will explore what's possible and create more opportunities for yourself. Okay, this video is getting long, and I'm glad you hung in there, and I want you to go out and find out what it feels like to be abundant, to be worthy, to know that you deserve to have a life that's happy and comfortable and secure, or fabulously wealthy and feeling rewarded by all the good that you're doing in the world. All right, put your hand up. Yeah, high five. Yay. So excited to be with you here. Get the Financial Abundance course. It's a great place to start. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.